Welcome back, traders. Second portion of our show, market movers. And besides the European banks, we have a market mover here in Diamond Foods, which had a big day on Friday. Dennis, this stock, which was trading over $90 in September, had just a monster sell-off. A lot of it was related to accounting practices. Well, lo and behold, an analyst comes out on Friday and says he doesn't think there's going to be that much problem with the accounting practices. And this stock posts a monster rally, really pale in comparison to the sell-off that it's had. And now it's back down again. Dennis, what's your take on this stock?
Here's something that Cramer always says, and I don't always agree with Cramer, but I will agree with him on this. When the stocks start talking about accounting practices or accounting problems, it means sell. It's equal to sell. That's what Cramer always says. I completely agree with that, because if you can't trust the books, you can't trust anything about it. And I'm not saying that the books are crooked here or anything, but when they're investigating, it's a red flag that I don't think I want to have my capital at risk when I'm not 100% certain that the books are true. So that's the whole thing here. Analyst comes out, says he disagrees. Stock pops 52% on Friday because we've sold out from 90 down to $26 there, just before Friday, before we rallied all day Friday there. But man, when you see a rally, the stock pops 14 points after it sold off like that, there was a lot of people taking some heat there, and you got to think that if they had the opportunity to break even or just take a small loss, they probably do it. So I always think rallies like this are probably meant to be sold, but you never know. There's a lot of people short this thing, so the squeeze could go on for a while. So I wouldn't want to be coming in shorting the stock here, but if I was long it, I'd probably think about lightening up.
Yeah, there's one other caveat to this stock, Dennis. Also, you had a member of the board commit suicide. And of course, the company said that was not related to anything that was going on in the company, but sure raises an eyebrow when that kind of thing happens. Just looking at it strictly from a technical perspective here, and not worrying about all those other possible transgressions of the companies. We made a low of 26.37 in this thing, Dennis, and then we had the monster bounce to 40.71. So I think I would just have to wait and let this thing trade out, maybe come back down to halfway this move to 33.50 level, 33.60 level, before I would try and step in with any confidence on the long side. If I was buying at those levels, of course you're risking down to the low of the move. But should be interesting to see what happens if this thing breaks down below the low of the move at 26.37 or get a couple closes above this 40.71 level.
Some of your precious metals here, Joel, gold and silver, GLD, SLV, trading pretty weak here this morning. This GLD, I was looking at this chart actually on Friday thinking, this is going to break one way or another. It looks like it's going to be down as the way it's going to break as we're trading down $3.90 at 162.50 right now. Getting a little bit tighter on that GLD chart, just looking at the last month. We bottomed on the 21st of November, right around that 162 area, Joel. So I think that might give you a little bit of initial support. On the SLV, we've talked about this 30 area going back. It seems like every time we talk about SLV, we talk about this 30 level. So it wouldn't surprise me if we do find some support in the 30 area as well. We're at 30.27 right now, so just 27 cents away from there. So big support on SLV coming up here, Joel.
Yeah, I mean, both of these ETFs, and as well as the precious metal itself, tried to recover from a vicious sell-off back from the highs that they made back in September. Bottom and then tried a little bit of recovery. I mean, I think you're looking at this 160 level in the GLD. If you're looking for a bounce there, trying to build a long position. But I don't think I'd really get bearish the GLD or the gold until they, took out this 155 level. I know that's a ways away, but these things can move and close below there. But to me, still trying to decide whether or not this recovery after the early October or late September lows is going to hold. Same with SLV. It had a bounce, and now it's whether it's a dead cat bounce or not, we don't know. This is also trading below the mid-range area, but the 30 looks like nice support. But below that, you have to look out for the lows of the move. I believe it was 27 and change, 27.41.
With such a significant move in GLD, I think we should talk about your two biggest gold producers, which is ABX, Barrick, Goldcorp, GG. Those are two of your big ones there, both Canadian miners, but those trade they trade very high over here as well. Looking at the Barrick Gold, going back here to last month, we bottomed out in that 47.5 area. I think you'll find some support there. SLV, on GG, I'm looking at this 48 level as potential support as well. So we're $1.50 away from there. What do you think on ABX or GG, Joel?
Yeah, I mean, it's almost if you pulled up a chart of GLD or the SLV, it'd be like you're looking at the same thing. Really, that I have to concur there on that 47.50 level. Looks like excellent support. With the GG, once again, we're looking at the same chart. Do see a one stopping point here at 47.64, but the major support comes in at just below that at around the $47 level at 46.73. I mean, I'm kind of inherently bullish these things. I know that, they've already had a big run and, the sentiment is kind of turning, but I just think that this is, an asset class that, that you want to own. So I think I'm a little biased here, Dennis. I'd be looking to buy the dips on these.
I think I'm biased overall in the sector too. Same thing, Joel. This is just, these are all defensive plays. I know in the last year everything seems to be correlated, but overall gold, typically is defensive. And if the market ever, if they never, you've got to think gold eventually is going to start to take off again. Maybe that's the trump card. If all this Europe stuff gets solved and we start to look good again, maybe you don't need gold as much. I'm not sure. Like Peter Schiff style, like he talks about gold, how it used to always be, it used to be a currency, and now it's just trading just off of its metal value. Nobody really trades. None of your currencies are gold backed anymore. So if we ever got into a situation where, you were worrying about currency, which, in Europe they are a little bit, then, gold obviously could come back into play as well. So you got to think about that from a longer term investment perspective. I think, these are good opportunities to own these. Trading perspective, that's always a different story. So depends on your time horizon when you're looking at these things, that's for sure. Moving on though, Joel, obviously what we just mentioned, Europe, we've got a lot of the European banks trading very, very weak this morning. I've got ING trading down actually almost 10% now. I've got Royal Bank of Scotland trading down 40 cents. Deutsche Bank trading down over $2. Credit Suisse trading down almost $1. So we've got a lot of weakness in the European banking sector. So we were strong Friday in Europe and we're weak today, Joel. I wonder if this is going to float over to our financials as well.
Yeah, Dennis, I'm looking at all these stocks, these European bank stocks, and they all look the same. They fell off a cliff, they bottomed out, they've had a recovery, and then, they just can't seem to hold. To me, looking at these charts of these European banks and looking at the overall market, at least the traders and the big owners of these banks are not convinced that the European situation is resolved, that it's going to be resolved anytime soon. If it is resolved, it's only going to be a future problem. It just does. I mean, these charts just aren't a raging bull chart to me. It doesn't look like everyone or at least the big money is convinced that this situation's taken care of.
Yeah, I think that situation it's throwing good money at bad money is the way we've been solving this thing. And eventually you got to think that they're going to have to either let something blow up or they're just going to keep digging the hole deeper over there. So even though that, you get all the countries coming together on a bailout package. I mean, really, what is that? All it is band-aiding a problem a more bigger problem. So I just don't know how you stop the bleeding over there. Slow the bleeding, but I think it just continues. So that's why we keep saying, these stocks, I just don't think I want to own these either, just for that reason, most of your European banks. And then you've got to think of how many of your U.S. banks have exposure over there. So that's why I have never been a big fan of financials in the last few years either, just because I don't think the problems are solved. And I don't know how you solve them. So, moving on, we could talk about this. We've talked about this so many times.
Here.
Well, Dr. Doom and Gloom. Let's move into some better stuff. This is a sector that I've talked about a lot too. A lot of your pharmaceutical companies have been starting to come around. We talked about Eli Lilly the last few shows, and it's got a potential blockbuster drug on the horizon there. So it's been moving up and getting close to or making new 52-week highs. Elon Corp, which is another drug. Jefferies came out this morning, ELN, giving some positive comments, saying that the stock could move up and actually over the next year get up to $20 a share. Things at $11.50 right now, so it is up from $11.32 close on those Jefferies comments. What do you think on ELN, Joel?
Yeah, I mean, once again, this is one of our favorite all-time stocks to talk about after it's got killed a few years ago. I mean, just from a technical perspective here, this $12 level is huge. It tested it not too long ago. Thick stock. You probably got people that have been buying this thing forever that are looking to get out. But strictly looking at it on a technical basis, you have monster support at the 1130 level, and this thing is just banging up trying to get above that 12 level. I'm sure there's some good sellers there because back at the end of October we hit 1210 and 1220. I think the next level after that, I'm not talking about a real, high moving stock here, but you can get a couple closes over that 12 level, and I'd be looking to test those July highs at 1258.
Another pharmaceutical company in the news, and this is why we've been saying this, because it seems like the last few market mover shows we've been talking about pharmaceutical companies. Endo Pharmaceutical Holdings, which is ENDP, which is up 6%. It was up a little bit more earlier, but trading $36 after closing at $34.01. So stock continues to, it is moving higher here still, even despite it was trading over 37 there earlier this morning. 38 looks like major resistance to me on this stock. I thought that's where it might be going pre-market. I don't know if it got quite there. Maybe Joel can give us a little more clarity if it got up to that $38 level in the pre-market or not. But that's the level I would keep an eye on for the regular session. I think that $38 could give you some resistance, as it was some major support back in May and June of this year.
This thing, obviously, this getting above this 34 level, they had a bunch of highs right around the 34.11 to 34.31 level, settled Friday at 34, so someone had an inkling here. But we busted up, Dennis. We only got to 37 and a quarter in the pre-market. We're 25 cents away from there, so that should be the first stopping point. It's hard when these stocks open up this much, to go out and buy them. I think if you do, I'd keep a real close eye. I wouldn't let this thing get much below 35.50 if I was trying to, ride the train on the upside. And then, this 34 was also excellent resistance back in August. So if I was a long-term trader and I was hoping to buy this on a pullback, I'd try and hold out for the 34 area. If you're just looking, to play the thing on a daily basis, you have 3 highs back in, I believe in late July, early August. From the 37.53 up to the 38.11 level. So that's your major resistance.
Well, that's all I've got for you today. We're down 13 here now, Joel. So good luck with the trading, and pass back to you, Joel. Anything you want to close with?
We're just hovering here, above the Globex low. It's really trying not to make a new low, just hovering above there. I'd keep an eye on that 1239 and a quarter as we approach. We still have 40 minutes before the open. Below that, look for a test of Friday's intraday low at 32.75. And can't turn around and get real bullish yet this morning unless we can get up above that 1247 level. Well, folks, keep sending your comments in. We appreciate looking ways to improve the show. And we'll be back with you tomorrow.